This week, the Russian Finance Ministry announced the creation of a new international standard for precious metals. The purpose of this new Moscow World Standard, or MWS, is to, quote, normalize the functioning of the precious metals industry and bring an end to precious metals price manipulation on the LBMA. What exactly does this new standard entail, and what will it mean for gold and silver? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Smart Silver Stacker here. Thanks for tuning into today's video. If you get some value from it, please do give it a big thumbs up down below. And if you'd like to see more videos about stacking silver and precious metals, then why not subscribe to the channel? Okay, so this story begins back in March when, following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the LBMA, or the London Bullion Market Association, banned a number of Russian gold and silver refineries from their good delivery list. And basically what this meant was that new gold and silver products produced by these refineries could no longer be considered good for delivery, and so they couldn't make up the reserves on the LBMA. And a lot of analysts viewed this as primarily symbolic and it wouldn't have a lot of impact. But following this, we saw developments like at the end of March when Russia said they were going to be purchasing gold at a fixed price. They were going to be basically doing a soft peg of the ruble to gold. But then following that, just a couple weeks later in April, the Russian central bank scrapped that whole plan as the ruble began to strengthen and they realized that this wasn't going to be a viable option. But now their most recent move is almost certainly going to be more significant. So let's get into it. First, I just want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor, silverbotanicals.com. Personal care and hygiene products that utilize the power of nano silver. If you enjoy these videos and you'd like to support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to support our sponsors. So check them out with the link down in the description today. And don't forget to use coupon code STACKER to save 10% off your order. So here's the major headline that we got earlier this week, and that is that Russia is looking into its own gold standard following that LBMA ban. And Russia is basically creating its own exchange. That's following an announcement by the Russian Finance Ministry that they would be implementing a new Moscow World Standard, or MWS. And the stated purpose of that is to normalize the functioning of the precious metals industry and to provide an alternative to the LBMA. And the idea here is that, according to the Russian Finance Ministry, the creation of such an organization would destroy the monopoly of the LBMA and ensure the stable development of the precious metals industry in Russia and around the world. And one of the most interesting and important developments here is that Russia is proposing fixing the price of precious metals in national currencies. It does look like one of the proposals is to back the new BRICS currency. That's the new potential alternative world reserve currency that those BRICS nations, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are proposing. And if that currency gets backed by precious metals, or if there is a fixed exchange of precious metals for that currency, that could make that a much more viable option as a world reserve currency when looking for an alternative to the US dollar. And I don't necessarily know that this would have any major impacts overnight, but we know that this de-dollarization process has been long and ongoing, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. So certainly the advent of some kind of a precious metals backed currency could be a serious threat to the dollar moving forward, and therefore could be very relevant to the price of precious metals, especially in dollar terms. And this article from Kitco goes on to state that the price fixing committee would include central banks and other large banks from the Eurasian Economic Union, so that's Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan, and Armenia. And also, you know, when you look at the BRICS nations, there's a lot of gold produced in those nations, and silver too. But if we look just at the top gold producers in the world, you can see China in the #1 spot there, Russia in #3, and then also South Africa. They used to produce a lot more gold, but they're still in the #12 spot. And there's Kazakhstan in the #9 spot. That's one of those countries we were just talking about. And so this potential collaboration of countries that could be involved in this gold standard, or this new precious metal standard, they hold a significant portion of the world's precious metals reserves and precious metals production. And so certainly they are in a position to implement such a thing. So at this point, it's uncertain exactly what impact this would have on the price of the precious metals, but I would expect there to be some upward pressure exerted, perhaps not immediately, but as these plans finalize and move towards fruition, one, having a fixed price for precious metals in certain national currencies would certainly make manipulating the price of precious metals much more difficult on the paper markets. And also, if this plan becomes popular and other nations begin to sign on, this could create a significant appetite for precious metals, thus exerting significant upward pressure. So far this looks like it is still a proposal in its infancy, but moving forward this is absolutely something that stackers should be keeping their eye on. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Smart Silver Stacker, out.